March of time! Backbone of U.S. merchandising today is the American housewife, who with almost 90% of all the nation's spending money in her pocketbook, buys more than $35 billion worth of necessities and luxuries every year. Though she spends 4 times as much as the federal government, the housewife must keep her budget balanced, spend no more than the family income. But today a warning that her penny-tight budget is being methodically pilfered comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Consumer Counsel, D.E. Montgomery.
It is impossible to estimate just how much each family's budget suffers by having ounces and inches chopped off by the short measure sheet. But our guess is that every year it totals hundreds of millions of dollars.
Five years ago, in 1933, New York's reform mayor, Fiorello LaGuardia, made William Fellows Morgan, Jr., Commissioner of Markets. The new commissioner first rid the city's public markets of big-time racketeers, who, by organized terrorism, had been levying an underworld tax on every pound of foodstuffs. With big shots in jail, Commissioner Morgan sent his inspectors out, posing as buyers, to round up the petty chiselers who were taking tribute in ounces and pennies.
Okay, 3 pounds, 90 cents.
Put them back. Why, Butcher, that's only 2.5 pounds.
I must have read it wrong.
Take them off. Why, your scale is even 1/4 pound fast. I'll have to give you a summons.
When the seizure of more than 5,000 rigged or defective scales brought fines or imprisonment for their owners, dishonest storekeepers turned to other dodges. The turkey stuffed with lead weights, the double-bottomed milk can, the short measure yardstick. Today, with 5 successful years of consumer protection behind it, the department pushes its aggressive campaign into new fields. Classed as lawbreakers are those who violate the spirit of the law, for inspectors consider misleading signs and labels as costly to the customer as outright short value. Fly-by-night brands of packaged and canned goods, whose contents are less than their labels state, become subject to confiscation. Even misleading appearances are on the department's blacklist. Though labeled with its correct weight, the sale of candy in an oversized box is held to be a deception. Bread baked full of air pockets to increase its apparent size is classed as an unfair trade practice. Before dawn every weekday to New York's busy markets go the department's supervisors to mingle with the farmers and commission merchants. Get from them first-hand information on the quality, quantity, and probable price trends of the day's supplies. From this data, the department's consumer chief prepares an early morning broadcast for a radio audience estimated at 1 million New York families.
Presenting your friend and food advisor, Mrs. Frances Foley Gannon.
Good morning, housewives. Today we find that lima beans are scarce and very expensive. Definitely not a good buy. Eggs are plentiful, but prices are still too high. For dessert tonight, I suggest old-fashioned strawberry shortcake. This week's berries are at their prime.
Also sponsored by the Department of Markets are cooking classes, where housewives may learn to prepare tastefully simple, low-cost foods. Cooperating with the housewife are organizations like the YWCA, which foster classes to teach values and wise buying, and the National Federation of Women's Clubs, whose Mrs. William Dix Forborg proposes a further step in bettering consumer-dealer relationships.
Whenever a consumer is misled into spending her dollar for inferior quality, some honest merchant and worthwhile storekeeper is deprived of that dollar which should have been spent with them.
Today at Pittsburgh's Mellon Institute, U.S. industry supports a staff of scientists who not only study the problems of heavy industry, but serve the manufacturer who may seek to make a mattress more durable, yet more comfortable. To make his textiles stronger, to raise the standard of all his products. Food companies retain as technical advisors master chefs whose sole job is to maintain highest standards of quality and flavor for their brands. Make a factory kitchen product please the most fastidious taste. In scores of laboratories, merchandise now undergoes a wear and tear test before it is offered for sale to the housewife purchaser. So today, whole armies of chemists and engineers work to raise the standard and reduce the cost of U.S. living. But the housewife knows that neither scientists nor short-weight inspectors can eliminate from the family budget one distressing item, the incalculable cost of human nature. Time marches on. This year, more than ever before, the U.S. public is discovering new pleasure and new adventure in the world out of doors. With the automobile now a family necessity, pleasant weekend weather regularly sends masses out from the cities to spend whole days at newly developed shore resorts. On their holidays, tourists are exploring the nation's parklands, finding in state and national reservations acre upon acre set aside for their enjoyment, secluded new camping grounds within easy reach by automobile. But streaming out on the open road, U.S. motorists bound for these new playgrounds are still meeting an old familiar joy killer, the motorcycle cop. Though by instinct motorists slow down at the sight of him, they are discovering that today the man the cop wants most is not the fast driver, but the dangerous one. For the modern cop, sent out to enforce traffic laws on U.S. highways today, knows that there are greater dangers than a broken speed law. He knows that the ever-increasing army of young cyclists is pushing up the nation's accident rate, that the careless pedestrian has no place on a motor highway. More and more, the cop is driving from the road the man at the wheel who risks his own life and that of everyone around him. He recognizes for the menace that it is the ramshackle, outmoded car. And most of all, he is waiting for the man at the wheel who is always ready to take a needless chance. Behind today's highway officer and his new enforcement attitude is a system of traffic police education which in the past few years has been accepted by every forward-looking state. At training school, the patrolman, studying a wide range of subjects, from accident investigation and the rules of evidence to psychology and selective enforcement, is indoctrinated with a new conception of police responsibility. And each new police class going out to enforce the law on the highway knows that the measure of the good cop is not so much his military smartness, not the number of arrests he makes, but the number of accidents he prevents. Because it is the police who are most directly concerned with traffic problems, this year, when the record of death and injury on U.S. highways adds up into millions, the press seeks comment from Lieutenant Franklin M. Kreml of Evanston, Illinois, who, as head of the Safety Division of the International Association of Police Chiefs, is spokesman for U.S. traffic officers.
Well, Lieutenant, what do you think about it?
I think it is horrible.
I think it is more horrible because it's unnecessary. With our present police departments, engineering divisions, and schools, we could develop now, at practically no extra cost, a program of engineering, education, and enforcement that would reduce this rate in cities everywhere from 25 to 50%. We know this can be done because it has been done right here in Evanston and in Detroit, Memphis, Providence, Milwaukee, and many other cities, too.
10 years ago, a motorcycle cop, Lieutenant Kreml is today at 34, director of Northwestern University's famed School for Traffic Police, and one of the nation's outstanding exponents of the three coordinated E's of accident prevention: enforcement, engineering, education. Already, 24 states have sent highway officers to study at Northwestern, and today communities from all over the country are seeking Lieutenant Kreml's advice on enforcement in solving their own traffic safety problems. In each case, his first recommendation is a thoroughgoing analysis of the community's accident history, a diagnosis of each element of danger in every accident zone. From this is evolved a plan of attack. Sometimes whole details of police must be shifted, even from busy thoroughfares to wherever accidents have been most frequent. If, in a bad zone, investigation reveals that drinking drivers or tipsy pedestrians have been a major cause of accident, patrolmen may be transferred from daytime duty in the shopping district to nighttime watch around nearby taverns and bars. For it is the new theory that the way to prevent an accident is to foresee it. For the hit-and-run driver, the new enforcement program provides a remedy. Officers expert in the scientific detection of traffic crimes. And in this enforcement scheme, ticket fixing, a convenient custom once entrenched in every city, is ruled out.
Traffic safety and ticket fixing don't mix. Every time a ticket's fixed, it is breaking down police morale, undoing everything we're trying to do.
Outstanding in the field of traffic engineering is Dr. Miller McClintock of Yale University. As engineering consultant, his problem is that of studying traffic flows, discovering accident causes, deciding how present-day road hazards are to be eliminated, and how tomorrow's problems can be anticipated. Often, serious traffic dangers can be overcome by simple rerouting to reduce congestion. The engineer must see that proper signals are installed at intersections to control vehicles and pedestrians, and that unobstructed visual aids are so placed that they may give the man at the wheel ample warning of any unusual condition ahead. Sometimes the engineer will find that lives can be saved by eliminating a highway curve, or safety may demand the construction of a costly underpass, planned not only for today's needs, but adequate for tomorrow's requirements. Planned for the future, and already springing up, are communities like Radburn, New Jersey, designed by the engineer to be models of safety. In them, homes front not on the street, but on footpaths and lawns. While light local traffic circulates safely in the rear, heavy through traffic is bypassed outside residential limits. Coupled with engineering and enforcement is safety's third E, education. Veteran in the field of child safety is the National Safety Council's Marion Telford. Through a full decade of cooperation with police and U.S. public schools, she and others like her have worked out a child education program that has been standardized and approved by every leading safety organization in the U.S. Basis of the program everywhere is the Junior Safety Patrol. Prime function of the Junior Safety Patrol is to help the police at school crossings. Patrol officers mete out justice to young offenders in their own traffic court.
Court come to order. Sylvia Robinson, stand up. You have been reported crossing a red light. What have you to say for yourself?
I did cross against the traffic, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Julie, what is your verdict?
Sylvia Robinson, we find you guilty.
I sentence you to read the safety handbook. Make me a report of it.
That accident reduction among children is no longer a theory, but a fact has been proven. For every year, with safety education spreading among the nation's schools, death and injuries to children in traffic have steadily fallen, while among adults, the accident rate has been steadily rising. And it is on adults responsible for 85% of all traffic mishaps in the U.S. that the 17 national organizations most active in supporting and subsidizing safety are today focusing their 3E campaign. And as 1938 brings to New York the executives of the 17 organizations to report and confer on another year's results of their long uphill fight, they learn that in communities where the 3E program has been faithfully carried out, the record of death and injury has been slashed by 30 to 50%. And from the newest developments in engineering, they take new hope for the future. For in the year past, new express highways have been opened, which, designed for safety, embody the most advanced theories of the nation's leading engineers. For traffic in the city of the future, designer Norman Bell Geddes, in collaboration with Yale's Dr. McClintock, plans an elaborate system of ramps and viaducts, completely separating pedestrian and motor traffic. Safety leaders hear that no fantastic dream is a radio traffic control beacon, now emerging from the experimental stage. Its youthful inventor, William Halstead, is confident that someday soon all motor traffic may be so regulated by radio impulses that collisions will be impossible. But much more heartening than all this is another piece of good news. For in the past 6 months of 1938, with more cars on the road than ever before, more people going more miles to more places, there has come at last a turn in the tide of safety. For in this half year on U.S. highways, the accident rate has dropped a full 20%. This weekend and the next weekend, there will be millions going and coming on the highways of the nation, seeking new adventures, new pleasure. But this weekend, every person who takes to the wheel on the highway must still risk an encounter with a driver not yet reached by safety's 3Es, the man who contributes the most to the nation's 7 million traffic accidents each year, the careless man at the wheel. Time marches on.